Okay, since I'm hemorrhaging subscribers and I'm desperate for validation, let's try something new. I kid, I would have done this anyway. Illidan. People love him. Let's try summarising his extensive lore in 5 to 10 minutes or so. How long did Noble take to tell his story? Let's go have a look, shall we? Just scroll to the most popular videos and... Oh, fuck. Well, at least you'll be getting value. Get it, Hearthstone fans? Value? Value Town? The mayor of Value Town? Do you get it? Do you get it yet? Please like my videos. Illidan is the twin brother of Malfurion. The two spent their childhood in the city of Suramar, befriending and both falling in love with Tyrande Whisperwind. Illidan was born with golden eyes, meaning he would one day be hot shit. Apparently. A young Illidan spent his time learning highborn magics and did try to learn druidic magics, but he sucked at those and Malfurion was much better. Loser. So he stuck to being great at the arcane arts. While not actually a highborn, the upper class of Night Elf society at the time, Illidan's skill with magic saw him become the personal caster of the respected Lord Kael'thas Ravencrest. 10,000 years ago, the Burning Legion launched their first invasion of Azeroth, summoned by Ashara, the Night Elf Queen. Illidan was in the thick of it. With the death of Latosius, Illidan was appointed leader of the Moonguard, an elite group of sorcerers. Illidan loved Tyrande. He tried to impress her with fantastic feats, often to the detriment of those around him. He was unaware Tyrande had long chosen Malfurion as her mate. Xavius, a highborn under the Legion's sway, played on this, using his power to darken Illidan's thoughts. When Illidan saw Tyrande in the arms of his brother, he turned his back on Azeroth's defenders and travelled to join the Legion. It was likely during this journey Illidan defeated the Doomguard Azzinoth to claim his iconic weapons, the Glaives of Azzinoth. Illidan's loyalty to the Legion was a feign. He sought an artifact called the Dragon Soul to close the portal that was allowing the Legion to enter Azeroth. The Legion thought the Night Elves sought to claim the artifact for them, so Illidan was brought before Sargeras, the Legion's master, so powerful the portal to Azeroth could not yet transport him. Illidan was granted powers of the Legion. His eyes were burnt out and replaced by orbs of mystic fire, allowing him to see all forms of magic, and his body was traced with tattoos imbued with fell magics. When this happened, Illidan saw a vision of the Legion's true power, and he resolved to one day defeat them for good. Illidan retrieved the Demon Soul and the Legion put it to use to strengthen the portal. He then returned to Azeroth's defenders, who, unsurprisingly, thought he was a bit of a dick for giving the Legion such a powerful artifact. But working alongside Malfurion, the two brothers were able to use the Demon Soul to seal the Legion's portal. This caused the Well of Eternity, the centre of Azeroth's single landmass and a font of huge arcane power, which had been feeding the demon's portal, to become unstable. This well also fueled the power of many Night Elf sorcerers, Illidan himself having liberally used it. Unbeknownst to anyone else, Illidan collected several vials of the well's water. The ensuing implosion destroyed the well, splitting the single continent of Azeroth into many. When the chaos had settled, Illidan scaled Mount Hyjal and found a tranquil lake at the mountain's peak. Into it, he poured out the contents of his vials. This created a new Well of Eternity. Illidan was discovered by Malfurion and other Night Elf leadership. They were aghast. It was the power of the well that had summoned the Legion to Azeroth in the first place. Illidan believed the well's power would be needed if the Legion were to ever return. Illidan, unable to see eye to eye with the rest of his kind, was imprisoned. This action and his turning to the Legion during the war earned Illidan the title of Betrayer. Illidan languished in the cell below Hyjal for 10,000 years. Blizzard really liked that number. He was eventually freed by Tyrande. The Legion had returned and the priestess of Elune believed the first demon hunter would be an essential ally. Illidan's brother remained unconvinced. Illidan led a group of night elves into Felwood, an area rife with Legion corruption. The demon hunter was made aware of the skull of Gul'Dan, which was not only corrupting the woods, it was also saturated with power, something Illidan could not resist. He claimed the skull's power as his own and was transformed into something new, a night elf demon hybrid. With this new power, Illidan was able to decimate the undead and legion forces that controlled Felwood, including arguably the most powerful Nathrazim, Tichondrius. Upon discovering Illidan, Malfurion and Tyrande thought he had sacrificed his soul for power. In disgust, Malfurion banished his brother. Illidan's input, however, had been essential for the Legion's second defeat on Azeroth. After the Legion's defeat, Illidan was approached by one of the force's leaders, Kil'Jaeden. The Legion had been betrayed by one of their creations, the Lich King, ruler of the Undead Scourge. Kil'Jaeden looked to recruit the Demon Hunter to destroy the Lich King. Illidan agreed, as Kil'Jaeden offered him more power and magic than he could dream of. Plus, the Demon Lord could have torn him to shreds. From the depths of the ocean, Illidan summoned the Naga, the Highborn who had been claimed by the seas when the Well of Eternity imploded. Illidan headed for the Broken Isles, all the while tailed by Maev's Shadow Song, the Warden who had once guarded Illidan and now sought to return him to his cell. As the Warden's forces and his own battled, Illidan entered the Tomb of Sargeras, seeking the artifact known as the Eye of Sargeras. Maev caught up, but using the Eye, Illidan was able to crush all who had followed him into the tomb by collapsing parts of the structure. Only Maiev survived. Illidan came close to completely destroying Maev's forces, but she was saved by timely aid from Malfurion and Tyrande. Illidan fled to the ruins of Dalaran. The Mage City had been destroyed during the Legion's second invasion, and used the Eye to begin tearing the continent of Northrend apart. This was where the Lich King sat, unmoving atop his frozen throne. He was stopped by Malfurion, Maiev, and the Blood Elf, Kael'thas. Malfurion raged at his brother, blaming him for the death of Tyrande. This, however, had been a lie by Maiev, which Kael pointed out. Malfurion wrapped Maiev in vines and travelled with Illidan to save Tyrande, which they successfully did. Malfurion's anger greatly diminished, and thankful to his brother, he said Illidan was free to go, but did warn him not to threaten his people again. Illidan understood and wanted there to be no more bad blood between Malfurion and himself. Illidan summoned a portal to Outland and left. Maiev caught up to the group and followed Illidan through the portal, determined to bring the Demon Hunter to justice. Knowing Kil'Jaeden would not be best pleased with him, Illidan had decided Outland, which was the shattered homeworld of the Orcs, would make the perfect place to hide. However, he was hounded and captured by Maiev. Illidan was saved by his Naga under the command of Lady Vash and a new ally, the Blood Elves, commanded by Kael'thas. Kael's people hungered for magic after the corruption of the Sunwell, their font of power at the hands of the Undead Scourge. Illidan promised to do what he could to help Kael's people quell their magical thirst, and in return, Kael pledged allegiance to Illidan. With help from the Naga and Blood Elves, Illidan was able to claim the heavily fortified Black Temple, shutting off all Legion gateways to Outland and defeating the mighty Pit Lord Magtheridon, picking up additional allies along the way, the Broken Draenei under the command of Akama. Kil'Jaeden found the Demon Hunter near instantly after Magtheridon's defeat. Thinking quickly, Illidan claimed he was gathering strength for a second assault on the Frozen Throne. Seeing the potential in Kael and Vash, Kil'Jaeden agreed to give Illidan one last chance. Illidan left for Azeroth with Kael and Vash, leaving Akama to reinforce Illidan's hold upon Outland. This time, the Demon Hunter's army marched directly to the Lich King's frozen throne, cutting a path through the Undead Scourge. Two of the Lich King's most powerful champions answered his call for aid, Anub'arak the Crypt Lord and Arthas, first among the Lich King's Death Knights. Arthas had been through many trials and tribulations, but met Illidan on the field of battle at the base of the Frozen Throne. The two duelled and Arthas came out the victor, leaving Illidan to bleed out on the snowy ground. Arthas ascended the Frozen Throne and bound with his master. Defeated, Kael'thas recovered the heavily wounded Illidan and returned to Outland. Illidan knew Kil'Jaeden would seek to make an example of him, and the demon hunter was convinced another invasion of Azeroth was not far away. He gathered power, using the blood of the imprisoned Magtheridon to create an army of Felorks, sealing off the Black Temple to gather power behind its walls, commanding Lady Vashj to seize control of Outland's water supply, and he trained a new generation of demon hunters, the Illidari. Illidan's actions frustrated Akama, who remembered the temple before its corruption at the hands of the Legion. Illidan, using Felorks, who Akama's people had battled for an age, and the demonic magics needed for the creation of the demon hunters, was corrupting the temple further. Illidan had also promised to hand control of the temple back to Akama, and that promise appeared to have been forgotten. This drove Akama to conspire with Maiev, who was still in Outland. Illidan soon discovered Akama's treachery and bound a portion of the Broken Soul to his service. Unlike the denizens of Azeroth waiting for another Legion invasion, Illidan took affirmative action, on one occasion leading a force of demon hunters to a demonic world controlled by the Pit Lord Azgoth. The assault was successful, the Pit Lord defeated, and a blow was dealt to the Legion. Illidan had further plans to attack the Legion. Using Akama, Illidan lured Maiev and her followers into a trap. Maiev was captured and the rest of her forces was slaughtered. Illidan used the souls of the departed, including those of his own soldiers, to open a portal to Nathrezar, home of the Nathrezim. Illidan and his forces tracked down records which gave the location of Argus, which acted as the homeworld of the Legion. Illidan destroyed the remaining records in the Nathrezim citadel and fled back through the portal with his followers. Illidan quickly closed the portal, directing all the burst of energy created from sealing it quickly back out to Nathrezar. By Illidan's calculations, this should have left the demon world in a similar state to Outland, slaughtering untold numbers of demons, the single greatest defeat the Legion had suffered since its inception. Seeing Illidan was a credible threat, the Legion took action, luring the Alliance and Horde to Outland. The two factions fought the Legion and also found themselves fighting Illidan's forces as well. Illidan's concentration was mainly spent on trying to find a way to destroy Argus. As a result, he lost much of Outland to the Alliance and Horde. Upon the eve of the Alliance and Horde's attack on the Black Temple, Illidan's attention was drawn away from his work to destroy Argus, immediately realizing that his forces coming to blows with the Alliance and Horde was exactly what Kil'Jaeden had planned. Illidan prepared for battle, calling his forces to the Black Temple. With the adventurers at his door, Illidan realized he would not have time to open a portal to Argus, and instead sent several Illidari to the demon world of Mardoom to retrieve the Sagarite Keystone, an artifact capable of opening up endless portals to numerous demon worlds, including Argus. When the Illidari returned with the Sagarite Keystone, Illidan had been defeated, betrayed by Akama, who had released Maiev from captivity. Maiev imprisoned Illidan's lifeless body, keeping his undying demon soul locked away, and imprisoned the demon hunters that had returned. They were all transported to the Vault of the Wardens upon the Broken Isles, where they remained imprisoned for many years. The Vault of the Wardens found itself under attack, betrayed by one of their own, Cordana Felsong, who led Gul'Dan from an alternative universe, we won't get into that now, to where Illidan's body was imprisoned. The third invasion of the Burning Legion had been launched. Gul'Dan claimed Illidan's body and separated his soul from it. The Warlock intended to use Illidan's body to act as a host for the leader of the Burning Legion, Sargeras. Adventurers were able to retrieve Illidan's soul, defeating the powerful Helya to reclaim it. With the Demon Hunter's soul, adventurers assaulted the Nighthold, defeating many allies and members of the Legion, until they came to the top of the hold. There, Gul'Dan stood waiting. The heroes attacked the mighty Warlock and a fierce battle ensued. With Gul'Dan weakened, the Archmage Khadgar attempted to return Illidan's soul, but Sargeras had already begun to take up residence. This summoned another adversary for the adventurers, the demon within. Upon this monstrosity's defeat, Illidan's soul finally returned to his body. The demon hunter shattered his confines and disintegrated the weakened Gul'Dan. The newly revived Illidan would lead an assault on the Broken Shore, which was where the Alliance and Horde suffered a catastrophic defeat at the start of the Legion's third invasion. This hard-fought battle went a lot better. The heroes gained access to the Tomb of Sargeras, from which Kil'Jaeden commanded the Legion. Eventually, Illidan, Khadgar and Velen fought Kil'Jaeden, forcing the demon to retreat back to his ship through a portal. Velen immediately followed the demon, against Khadgar's better judgment. Illidan explained if they did not act now, the Legion would always return. They followed Kil'Jaeden to the Twisting Nether and defeated him in the only realm in which demons could be permanently killed. As Kil'Jaeden's ship came crashing down into Argus, Illidan used the Sagarite keystone, which had been recovered by his Illidari, to open a portal between Argus and Azeroth, avoiding death. However, Illidan intentionally left the rift between Azeroth and Argus open. The heroes of Azeroth now had no other option but to invade the Legion's homeworld. Well, to cut a long story short, the Legion was defeated, Illidan being a driving force behind the victory. Not only were the demons of Argus obliterated, but the Legion's master, Sargeras, was also imprisoned. Not before landing a devastating blow upon Azeroth, his sword left protruding out of the world. Illidan was appointed as Sargeras' jailer. So there you have it, a very quick breakdown of Illidan's lore. Not quite the 10-minute mark now, was it? Oh well, at least it was kind of a longer episode, right? If you have liked this video, well, hit the like button. And if you didn't, you're a prick and I hate you. Subscribe and all that, and until next time, happy Hearthstoning. Oh, one more thing. I'm thinking of making these bi-weekly so that I can work a bit more on the Dragon Saga. Just so that you all know. Let me know if that's sacrilege. Bye!